Ease has a cost. Not always in money. When food arrives at your door without visible delivery fees, the mind relaxes. No friction, no effort, no resistance. And that absence feels like gain. But what disappears first is not cost, it is effort. And effort is never morally neutral. You do not notice the shift immediately. It feels small, harmless, efficient. You are tired. You are occupied. You are optimizing. So you tap the screen, and something subtle rearranges itself inside you. Character is not formed in dramatic crises. It is formed in repetition, in the quiet decisions you cease to examine. Cooking, waiting, planning, cleaning. These are not heroic acts. They are training grounds. They require patience, moderation, a willingness to endure mild inconvenience without complaint. When delivery becomes frictionless, one of those training grounds disappears. You no longer deliberate whether effort is appropriate, because effort has been removed from the equation. And when effort is consistently bypassed, the faculty that governs desire is exercised less frequently. For the Stoic, this faculty, rational command over impulse, is central. In Letters to Lucilius, Seneca does not condemn comfort. He condemns enslavement to comfort. He warns that many men appear free while living in voluntary bondage to appetite. Bondage, in his language, is not chains. It is subjection of reason to desire. Free delivery is not a moral failing, but it becomes morally relevant when it alters who commands whom. If desire commands and reason complies, there is servitude. If reason commands and desire obeys, there is freedom. This is the axis. Not price, not efficiency. Command. Seneca frequently advised rehearsing poverty. In Letter 18, paraphrased, he recommends deliberately eating coarse food and wearing rough garments for several days each month. He asks, "Is this what you feared?" The purpose was not self-punishment. It was preparation. By voluntarily practicing discomfort, one loosens fear of losing comfort. Fear is the true tyrant. The man who cannot endure simple fare trembles at the thought of its necessity. The man who practices simplicity remains tranquil, whether dining modestly or richly. This is indifference properly understood. Wealth is a preferred indifferent. Comfort is a preferred indifferent. Convenience is a preferred indifferent. They are desirable, but not required for virtue. Virtue alone is good. When you use delivery occasionally, without agitation at its absence, you remain free. When its absence disturbs you, attachment has formed. Attachment produces fear. Fear produces disturbance. Disturbance undermines tranquility. And tranquility is one of the central aims of Stoic life. In On the Shortness of Life, Seneca argues that life is sufficiently long, yet squandered by distraction and misallocation. We guard money carefully. We guard property carefully. But we surrender hours carelessly. Delivery promises to preserve time. It may preserve minutes, but preserved minutes are not automatically well-used minutes. If you remove the labor of cooking, what governs the liberated time? Reason or impulse? Time saved but not directed is merely transferred from one activity to another. The Stoic question is not, did you save time? It is, did you use it according to reason? There is a further dimension. Membership, subscription, Prepaid convenience. When you pay in advance for unlimited delivery, the structure of your decision-making changes. You begin to feel entitled to usage. You begin to think in terms of maximization. I have already paid. In On Benefits, Seneca explores the moral architecture of giving and receiving. A benefit establishes a relationship. Even when no legal obligation exists, the receiver feels bound, not by force, but by internal movement. Modern subscription systems are not acts of generosity, yet they generate similar psychological bonds. You feel compelled to extract value. Compulsion is the key word. If your action is governed by compulsion rather than judgment, your freedom narrows. This narrowing is rarely dramatic. It is incremental. One additional order, one less meal prepared, one more instance of effort deferred. Habits accumulate. Seneca observes repeatedly that character is shaped by repeated indulgence. He does not fear pleasure itself. He fears the loss of self-command. The danger is not that delivery exists. The danger is that appetite expands quietly. Human desire is elastic. What was once an occasional pleasure becomes expectation. Expectation becomes baseline. Baseline comfort recalibrates tolerance. If you grow accustomed to immediate fulfillment, delay feels offensive. If you grow accustomed to prepared meals, preparation feels burdensome. This recalibration matters because life does not guarantee immediacy. Circumstances will eventually impose delay, inconvenience, and constraint. If your mind has not practiced endurance, disturbance increases. Seneca would say, "Train the mind so that fortune cannot surprise it." Fortune includes loss of convenience. To rely entirely on systems for ordinary living reduces resilience when those systems falter. Self-sufficiency is not isolation. It is capability. The one who can cook remains calm when delivery fails. The one who cannot becomes agitated. Agitation is evidence of attachment. Attachment is evidence of misplaced value. For Stoicism, external goods are not evil, but they are unstable. To treat the unstable as essential invites disturbance. Dependence rarely feels like captivity. It feels efficient, streamlined, optimized. But the Stoic measure of freedom is not efficiency. It is self-governance. Can you abstain without anxiety? Can you choose effort without resentment? Can you endure simplicity without complaint? If so, you are free. If not, something external has gained influence over your internal state. This is the true cost, not the delivery fee, not the hidden markup, but the gradual shifting of command from reason to appetite. None of this demands rejection of technology. Seneca himself lived among wealth, political power, and luxury. He defended the possession of wealth in On the Happy Life, arguing that the wise person may use riches without being possessed by them. The distinction is possession versus enslavement. You may possess convenience. You must not be possessed by it. Occasional use does not corrupt. Unexamined reliance does. Therefore, the remedy is not abstinence. It is awareness. Occasionally choose the harder option. Cook when you could order. Wait when you could accelerate. Walk when you could summon delivery. Not to dramatize discipline, but to remind yourself that you can. Capability preserves dignity. Dignity stabilizes tranquility. Tranquility supports virtue. And virtue remains the only true good. Free delivery still costs you. It costs you opportunities to practice patience. It may cost you moments of deliberate effort. It may cost you occasions to strengthen self-command. These costs are invisible. They do not appear on invoices. They appear in your reactions, in your irritations, in your inability to endure small inconveniences without disturbance. Nothing is free. Not because companies are deceptive, but because every choice shapes the chooser. Every convenience alters expectation. Every repetition shapes disposition. The Stoic does not fear convenience. He examines his attachment to it. If he can lose it without losing composure, he is free. If he cannot, the cost has already been paid.